Oh boy. Hi guys. It's me. You're here because I talk about films. And most of the time, I try to bring you bangers. But unfortunately, tonight, there is no banger in sight. The movie that I'm going to bring to you is my worst movie of 2026. Came out this weekend. It is called Find Your Friends. It is on Shudder. It's Shudder's big June exclusive. Uh, as we recall, the last big exclusive they had was Heresy, which was chef's kiss. Absolute chef's kiss. But this is ass. This movie should have been a home run. It should have been an absolute home run. I mean, these movies are hard to fuck up. It's a revenge film about a woman who is assaulted, and those movies, 9 out of 10 times, are fucking awesome because you get to watch our main lead go through an arc where she pursues the men and then disembowels them, castrates them, fucks them up. And it's satisfying. It's like a modern day Western. It's fun to watch. Obviously, not the initial assault, but everything that comes after. Ooh, we wouldn't have things like Straw Dogs or Spit on Your Grave or Revenge, which is my favorite of the sort of female-led revenge subgenre of horror. I think Revenge is like stellar. I love that movie. It gives me a little bit of Drive vibes, which is in my top 5 of all time. So aesthetically, that movie works for me. It's a simple story. And this is why these movies work. You already know the villains are easy to hate. They're like Nazis, basically. And the lead is easy to root for. All you got to do is give me some very satisfying kills, and I'm a happy camper. And so are the rest of us who like these kinds of films. This movie has missed the mark on so many levels. And the irony is that I think that a little bit of this is based on some of the director's personal stories. So I'm not here to tell the director that her experience was invalid at all. But I think as a movie, this sucks. Like it makes it hard to root for these characters. This is, and maybe if these characters had an arc, then I'd be like, I see it. But these characters remain the same throughout the entire movie, and they're wholly fucking unlikable. So the movie follows a group of college women who go out to a party in the middle of the desert, and one of them is assaulted, and soon after, the rest of them are being stalked. Now that sounds like a great movie. It sounds like something that you'd expect would bring a lot of carnage, a lot of arcs, and what's not to like? A bunch of women taking revenge on these assholes. Like, that has all the makings of something that would work. The problem is that that's not what this movie actually is. I was lied to. I thought that this would be a revenge horror film as it was marketed, and the word from Tiff was that this was something like Revenge, Spit on Your Grave, or Straw Dogs. But honestly, this movie isn't on par with any of those at all. One, and I'm going to go full spoilers because there's no way I can really talk about this movie without just going ham on it. So if you really care about spoilers, come back after you've watched it. Although I promise you this movie isn't about revelations as much as it is just experiencing it. But you've been warned, so I'm going to go in. So initially the movie starts with them on a yacht. First 20 minutes is just them partying. The first 5 seconds, you hear pussy more than there are pages in the Bible. Holy shit. These women only talk about getting their backs blown out and their pussies eaten for the entirety of the movie. I thought it was just going to be the start because they're in a party environment, and they're probably going to they're being depicted as like very much party animals, right? College girls letting their freak flags fly, if you will. But this is like the entirety of their character arc for an hour and 35 minutes. It is fucking unbearable. There's no way that this dialogue was written. It had to be improv because they just sound like a bunch of dudes when they're together just uttering nonsense. It was a fucking rough watch. But what makes it even worse is when our main character out of this group gets assaulted at the yacht, and then she decides to keep it a secret. Now, granted, her friends were in the room with her, and when they see her getting frisky with this guy, they kind of walk off and leave him alone so they can have the room. Now, she was doing this, she was making out with this guy in order to make her ex jealous, right? So it's already like, man, motivations here are fucking dumb. Like, this, I'm already not into it just because, like, I don't know, I guess that kind of, you know, party animal, frat, sorority style behavior, you know, just it's fucking stupid. It just feels dumb to follow. I've never been one, so maybe I couldn't connect. So I was like, you know, I'm not meant to connect with these personalities. I'm just meant to root for them, so whatever. But again, there's no arc, so they remain the same. And that mentality leaks over into the aftermath of her being assaulted because when she leaves the yacht, she reacts very volatile. She does something that gets her kicked off of the yacht with her friends. And the next thing they do is they just get to the Airbnb, get drunk, do more drugs, and then guess what? They go to sleep, wake up, get drunk, do more drugs, and then go to the party. To do what? Get drunk, do more drugs, and do some dick. That's it. That's the whole fucking movie for about 51 minutes before we get to the part where the rest of the group is in danger. The problem with this script is not so much that it takes its time, because I'm a believer that a slow burn is more likely to get a reaction from the audience than an immediate payoff. So that's not my fucking problem. My problem is that these characters are so unredeemable, despite the circumstances that they're under. At no point does anybody wonder within the first 47 minutes. None of the girls even think about asking her, hey, you've been acting manic since we left you alone with that guy. And it was immediately after that that you started acting that way. Did something happen to you? The whole time we're led to believe that they're girls, that they love each other, but at no point are they conscious of each other. And I get that the whole point is, hey, like the tagline is that there's a frailty to female relationships, but then if that is the point of your movie, shouldn't there be some kind of resolution or some kind of payoff, some kind of moment where we figure out that they understand, some moment where they all come to terms with each other's behavior and call it out? No, they don't call it out once in the movie at all. We're just led to believe that this is just how they are and that these women are friends willingly, but they're horrible to each other. At one point, one of them disappears and they don't bother to ask or check her location until it's too fucking late. And the woman that is assaulted, the main character, the one that's dealing with everything, for a good 40 minutes, I forgot it was even a revenge tale. I forgot she got assaulted up until she kissed another man very willingly and then had a flashback. I don't know any woman on this planet whose fight or flight wouldn't kick in after something that terrible within minutes, within seconds. And this is a day after it happened. She goes to a party, she takes a drink, she takes drugs, she gets left alone with men and doesn't really question it. She seems a little reluctant, but no more than any shy girl who's just trying to put herself out there. Not a person who was assaulted and has fight or flight written all over her face. No. None of her, and anytime she does have a manic moment, her friend's only reaction is, why are you acting crazy? You're cock blocking me right now. I'm trying to jump on this dick and you're actively keeping me from jumping on the trampoline. I'm just like, what the fuck is wrong with all of them? And so, I'm going along with it. I'm thinking like, hey, these characters are unredeemable for now. There's going to be a huge moment. There's going to be a huge revelation amongst them at the very end. That's going to feel like there's some meaningful message here about setting boundaries, not repeating cycles, cautionary tales. No. But what this movie turns into after this other group of men come in that are trying to assault them and violate them and kill them is just a movie that finds community in sharing the kill, sharing the slay, if you will. What was weird about that scene is that the only one that was okay with capturing one of these men and torturing him was the one that got violated at the beginning. Understandably so. The two other friends that are left alive, the most unproblematic, the most unfazed, the ones that are just throughout the entire film haven't had a single ounce of conflict except with her going, "You're fucking crazy. We don't know what's going on with you, but you're fucking crazy. You're unhinged." They suddenly have a moment where they just decide, you know what, we're going to share in this. Now, granted, all we've been doing is snorting dick, drinking cocaine, and drenching ourselves in alcohol, but we're suddenly going to feel the urge to maim and kill as if we've done it many times before. The ones who have suffered the least, they share in the sleigh. Now, it would have been a cool moment. It would have been a cool moment to see this culmination of, you know, women who have suffered together, who have been trying to support each other, push each other through this very difficult thing to do, which is to take a life, right? And in the circumstances that they have to take a life under, maybe it's much easier because, you know, this is revenge. They have been violated, but in this case, only one of them has, and the other ones have been total bitches to our main character. So the sort of switch of characterization was like, this is fucking dumb. Like, it's just an excuse so that we could see the guy get his dick chopped off, which looked cool, but no, I still think that the best castration scene is in Hostel 2, where the girl cuts a guy's dick off with shears and then throws it at a pit bull so he can eat it. That fucking cool. But this looked cool. I mean, it looked cool. The gore was there towards the end, really, and that was the most gore. That was the goriest scene. So even in its sort of opportunity for catharsis, it really doesn't really pay off much. And then towards the end of the movie, the remaining characters start screaming in the car together, looking at each other. At no point does it feel like they learned anything. Like, maybe we should get a whistle or an alarm, anything at all. Self-preservation. Maybe we should leave this life of drinking, fucking, and snorting behind us. Maybe we should try to stay away from this kind of company that would elicit the kind of behavior that would be easy for me to be violated under. And I'm not saying that they're going in and that they're at fault. Of course they're not. The men in this movie are absolutely the reason why they took advantage of these women. But again, at no point are they shown to have any sense of self-preservation once these things happen. I have no reason to believe that in the afterlife of this movie's longevity, that these characters lived on and not continue to party and just sleep with random dudes and just do drugs and accept alcohol from random guys. The stuff that they went through would easily shake them into a new reality. They would have boundaries, they would have walls, they would have to go to therapy. They would have to come to terms with how they treated each other. They would have to grow. None of that. This movie fucking sucks. Not even in violence is it fun. The revenge element just doesn't feel earned. We forget that the main character was violated for 43 fucking minutes before it comes up again. 43 to 47 minutes before it comes up again. That's the biggest reason I'm watching this movie, is to see her get that, deal with that, cope with that, and finally crack and decide to, you know, disembowel these dudes. And we don't get any of the satisfaction that comes with these kinds of movies. It feels like we're just watching girls party. Women that are like incredibly, and now granted, I know I'm saying women because it's a main cast, but dude, if these were dudes, male or female, these characters are fucking unbearable. These are people that I wouldn't in any way, shape, or form catch myself hanging out with or even care to hear what they have to say. The dialogue feels so improvisational. The movie feels like it has no point or purpose, rhyme or reason. It could have explored so many things. It says it's about relationships between women, but I think like Forbidden Fruits was probably a better example on that than this. And this is a much more serious film, even though the dialogue would have you believe otherwise. Because again, for 50 minutes, the dialogue is just, I want Coke, let's drink. I want dick. Actually, let's put the Coke on the dick, wash it down with the drink, and then snort it, and then suck it. That's like literally, that's the fucking dialogue. It's so crazy to me that anyone watches this and thinks that they're like gonna learn anything valuable about female autonomy or taking control over your body or choosing your friends. I mean, this movie's just fucking ass, dude. Genuinely. And I was really rooting for it. So hey, at least I still have revenge, and I'm sure there's people out there who fucking love this movie. We're just like, yes, bitch. That was crazy. That came out of me. Yeah, and it's definitely not to discredit the personal experience of the director, because I don't really know what part of this movie is exactly derived from her personal experience, whether it's the personal relationship between the girls or how the girls are, or the actual assault itself, which no one should ever have to endure. But as a movie, it doesn't do much in the bracket of the subgenre that is already filled with so many great movies of this nature where women are like fighting back. So yeah, man, this was such a fucking miss, man. Oh, it's just a shame because I was looking forward to it genuinely, but nonetheless, thank you guys for listening in to another video. I will come back tomorrow with another movie, as I usually do. And I appreciate you guys for showing up, for showing love. And as always, I'll see you at the movies.